This is about what my makeup bag typically looks like when I go on a trip. But in today's video, I'm going to take my makeup bag from looking like this all to this. I used to pack eyeshadow palettes, mascara, cream bronzer. This is too much product to take for one trip. But I am also a beauty obsessed person. I love to experiment, I love to relax and unwind doing my makeup. But all of this just cannot come with me. I'm taking my first trip to mainland Europe, specifically to France, with only a carry-on bag. Now, I won't lie to you guys. I am checking my bag coming back because I am bringing home a lot of French butter. But on the way there, everything needs to fit into this quart-sized makeup bag. Might actually have less room if I had not decided to check my bag coming home. But luckily, I have about a quart, but that's when I started thinking, maybe I can fit all of this makeup into a very tidy makeup palette. I've seen my friends do this on YouTube, Matilda on video. I'm going to leave some of her videos down below. So let's talk about some of the tools I bought to get the job done. First of all, I need a makeup palette to make this happen. We have three options. One is this one from Salt New York, and honestly, I think this would be the best if I was really trying to do a minimal routine. It is compact, it is very secure, and it's adorable. I also just love Salt New York. But it is kind of small, and I'm wondering if for my first time doing this kind of palette, if it might be too minimal. Option number two is this mirrored palette from Billion Dollar Beauty. Now, I don't know if you guys can tell already, it's a little hard to get open. But what's nice about it is that you have the magnetized palette down here, and then you also happen to have a mirror. So I can do my makeup, and then I also have my palette to work off here. But I really don't know if this is super secure. It does worry me a little bit because it just feels kind of flimsy. For my last option, I have this little Ulta Beauty Z palette. I bought this so many years ago. Ironically, I actually have a bunch of Salt New York stuff in here. This feels very sleek and I will have more room. However, I need to make sure this actually will fit in this bag. In it goes, and it is a perfect fit. All right, I think we're going with this palette. So let's talk about what I need to get into it. Before we get into that, let's talk about some of the other tools I have. I have a spatula for depotting. I have some alcohol prep pads just to make sure everything is sanitized. I have a variety of different shapes of pans. And I also have this little mini squeezy tube that I think I might put my foundation in because I feel like this could definitely have an impact and give me more space. And last but not least, I have this candle warmer that I'm hoping will warm up the pans enough to make the creams melt down very evenly. The reason I'm bringing mostly creams is twofold. One, this is going to save me quite a bit of space. I'm taking essentially all of this packaging and condensing it down to just one palette. But this isn't just for space. A big reason I've decided to condense it to a palette is that creams technically, from what I've read, if you can hold them like this and nothing is dripping out, TSA doesn't consider them liquids. So it actually gives me a chance to bring more skincare products, which honestly is what I really need when I'm traveling. I need to keep my skincare routine pretty consistent. So condensing my makeup is really going to give me that flexibility. We're going to pop out these Salt New York pans. Before I get started, I'm just going to take this little alcohol prep pad. I'm just making sure that everything is sanitized. Now we have to decide how many pans can actually fit in here. And we have to see what arrangement actually makes sense. So I actually just picked up this pack on Amazon, but it would be much cheaper if you guys just went onto Etsy and looked up watercolor paint sets. It is definitely a cheaper way to go and you can really customize. So I'll leave some links down below if you're interested in doing this. So this seems to be about the size of the Salt New York ones. I really like this for base. So any of my cream bronzers, I feel like this would be a good pan to do, a good pan size. Now this one for blush I think could actually work. It is slightly smaller. And then lastly, I have some of these tiny ones. This could be really nice for a cream shadow or maybe even lipstick. And I could fit quite a few of those. I could really have quite a few lip options. So those definitely excite me. But something that I did realize right out the gate, that one of my favorite palettes from Danessa Myricks actually has magnetized shadows that are ready to pop out. So for me, it was a no-brainer. This is where we're starting. I am going to take some of my favorite shades. First of all, we need to take the shade Bark. I always use this for my liner, and we are taking both the powder. I love that they're already marked. Very makeup artist friendly. I mean, she is an incredible makeup artist. Then we also have the putty version, the cream. So I love doing my smoky winged liner with this. So automatically we are set. But I think it would be really nice to also have a crease shade. So I'm going to take the shade Chiseled. I obviously use this shade a lot. I'm going to use both the putty and the powder. So here we go. We have the two creams right there. And then we also have the corresponding powders. Now, I'm not sure what this is going to look like at the end, but I know that these make sense. So right away, thank you, Danessa Myricks. This is one of my favorite palettes ever. And I love that I automatically have basically an eye look. I also have this Dior Coral blush that has already popped out of the container, and I love this powder blush. I use it like all of the time, and I'm wondering, yep, it fits right in. You guys, I think this might need to come. It's also going to work to kind of set my makeup on the cheeks. So I know for a fact these two products are going to be in the palette. And I'm not gonna lie, I'm also tempted by this Givenchy pressed powder, which I realized not only do I love this, but I realized the back pops right out. It pops the powder right out. And if I'm lucky, it's going to be magnetized. Nope, it's not. Not magnetized. And I don't even know if this is going to close. Yep, it does close, but we would have to magnetize this one ourselves, which is okay. I do have magnets that we can do that with. But you can see here, this doesn't really give me a lot of room to work with. This is taking up quite a bit of space. So for now, I think I'm going to take out all of these and let's just see where we land. 'Cause honestly, I think it would be nice to have some powders to mix in here. I actually bought some tins with tops to them, like, you know, those like old-fashioned kind of Altoids like tins, because I thought those would be incredible to actually depot creams into because they have tops on them. So I could mix creams and powders into one palette without worrying about some of the powders getting into the creams and vice versa. I'll leave a link down below to some of the ones I'm talking about, but they're not here, so that's not going to happen this trip. So let's talk about some products that I feel are missing in this palette. For me, a very long-wearing cream bronzer is kind of a non-negotiable. The Makeup by Mario Soft Sculpt Stick, especially in the shade Light Medium, I'm actually using this on my sister on her wedding day. I love this. It lasts so beautifully and it blends incredibly. This to me is kind of a no-brainer, so I think we are going to take a bit of this stick and decant it. I was also considering taking one of the Merit Solo shadows and kind of decanting this as well, but knowing that I have those from Danessa Myricks already done, I think I'm going to skip on taking this. Something I might take though is some of Merit Rouge. This is their red blush. That is one of my all-time favorite makeup products. I just absolutely love the kind of sun-kissed effect it gives. So I think we might have to take a little bit. It's really nice to apply to the cheeks, and it would go very well with Dior Coral. So we're gonna need to think about that one. Another option that I have here is the Milk Makeup Matte Bronzer. This is so small that it almost feels kind of weird to put it into the palette because it's already so easy for travel. So I think it might just from that standpoint make more sense to just do it with the Makeup by Mario. One product that I would really love to make a mini pan of though is the Bisou blush from Violette. Look at that shade. It is gorgeous, so vibrant. So I think this is going to be one that we make a mini of, and look at how fun that's going to be to cut. I promise I'm not going to destroy the makeup, but it is going to be fun to take a slice of that one. Now I am going to need an SPF lip balm that I can throw into my purse. So this is just going to have to stay as a non-decanted product. Not that I could really even put this in a pan. It's too liquidy. But I am going to need some lip shades. This Nivea Sheer Red is really easy to wear. But I think what I want to do now is get making some of the mini pans, and then we'll see what we actually have room for. And I think I'm going to take the Makeup by Mario Sculpt Stick, the Bisou blush from Violette FR, as well as Merit Rouge. Let's first start off with the Makeup by Mario in light medium. I'm going to go ahead and take my alcohol prep pad and make sure that this is all sanitized. I'm going to do the same thing for the spatula and the surface of my table. Now, I really don't need much here, but I've heard that if you really squeeze it up, there's actually quite a lot more product than you would think, and I would agree with that. All right, well, here goes nothing. Okay. That wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. This might be too much for this pan. We will find out. Oh my gosh, yeah, this is going to be way too much. Well, it's a good learning experience. So I'm just going to take about half of that chunk that I just cut off. By the way, this is not going to waste. I am going to put this into another little palette and I'll probably give it to my sister. But yeah, this is going to get melted down now. Real test is going to be if this actually melts down. Oh my gosh, it's melting it down already. I don't know what I expected, but I didn't expect this to happen so quickly. Honestly, that looks really appetizing because it just looks like chocolate. This actually just made this entire process so much easier. I thought I was going to have to sit here and scrape each little bit perfectly in here, but this has made it absolutely really easy. Now, I need to remember not to burn myself taking this off of here. Now, while the rest of that melts down, I'm just going to get another one of these mini palettes ready with the rest of this. You guys, that is insane. That took like no time at all. And we'll get this melting as well. So second half is going in. All right, there it is. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna slide this off onto the mirror of the Janessa Myricks palette, and we're good. Now I'm just gonna let that cool off, and let's see in real time how this melts. Checking back in, I actually I forgot to turn it back on, so this might actually take a little bit longer. But while I mention that, this pan is doing very well. It's only slightly warm and it's almost completely set. So I am incredibly happy with how this first one is going. This is actually way easier than I anticipated this process to be. If you have a candle warmer, you can do this. And even if you don't, it just takes a little bit of patience. Now this is almost completely melted, but what I did realize is that I feel like this is kind of close to overflowing. So I'm just gonna add the last little bits of this into the other. Now, I'm not sure how this could affect the way that these are, like the actual formula. My guess is not by much, honestly, but so I'm not too worried about it, but I will absolutely keep you guys posted in the comments. So it looks like this pan is all ready to get taken off. My first pan is done, and I could not be happier with the way it looks. I'm so excited to get some cream blushes in here now. So again, I'm just gonna go ahead and make sure that this pan is all nice and sanitized. Let's cut into this Bisou balm. Not gonna lie, I am very excited to do this. I realized just like last time that I actually don't need to cut that much off. So let's go with about this much. This and my other stick, I am gonna like go ahead and make sure that those are a little bit less rough when I put them back in, but for now I'm just gonna focus on getting the job done. Oh, Bisou Balm, and by the way, this is the shade, I wanna say the shade is Louise, let me double check. No, this is the shade Melanie, and this shade is absolutely incredible. I'm really, really loving it. Just making sure I get every little drop. And let's get the candle warmer doing its work. I can't tell if I need to put more product in here or if it's just not done melting. So I'm gonna kind of get the product working a little bit more. I think I'm just gonna add a little bit more from here. Just even out the stick a little bit, make it look a little prettier. So yeah, that looks a lot prettier in there. And then I think this is gonna help this look prettier if I can get this in here in one piece. Just be really, really careful if you're doing this. I'm not even advocating that you guys do this. So I kind of smoothed it out a little bit, and now the heat is kind of like evenly melting this a little bit better. That one definitely didn't melt as perfectly as the Makeup by Mario, but I think that that's okay. For a first round, I think that that is actually really good. You can see here too, I mean, that looks like it worked. Upon reflection, I feel like if I just take this powder blush with my cream, my one cream blush and my one cream bronzer, I feel like this is really all I need. And I'll have more room for everything else. So I think these are the only two products I'm going to bring, which is kind of crazy because next we have both of my cream kind of eyeliners, essentially, my putty shadows. So we have both of those right there. And then we have the powder counterparts, and I can just stick those right below them. So I'm already feeling really good about this. I really have everything I need aside from, you know, like concealer, mascara. So I think if I just stick to this and then put my powder right here, I feel like we could be in good shape. I could put this back in here and take this giant thing, and I just don't think I'm going to do that. I don't think that that's going to happen. So for now, this is what I think I'm going to do. Remember, I am trying to save space for more butter to be able to take home more French butter. So I think let's try and magnetize this and then see if I can kind of wiggle some things around and get some more room. So I think I should be able to just take one of these little magnetizing dots, take the adhesive off here, and just put it directly on there. But all right, I think we got the magnet. Now let's see if this works. I have not tried this yet. Yep. I mean, that did it. So this dot is the biggest one that I have. So we're just gonna have to hope that this is magnetized enough. I mean, I don't know. I don't think I'm gonna be able to take this. So now this has a magnet on it for whatever reason. And I'm gonna have to figure out what to do with powder. So I just came up with a great idea. A lot of my toiletries I'm putting in these little condense travel containers. So they come in like a bunch of different varying sizes. So this one's for cleanser, this one is for like your medication. But I just realized these small ones are actually perfect for a little bit of loose powder. So that is what I'm gonna do. I was deciding between the Rare Beauty and the RMS, and I think I'm gonna go ahead with the RMS. I've just been loving this one, and you can see and hear it's like just the right amount of room. So I'm just gonna kind of shake the product in here, and there we have it. It is very, very messy. Is this sketchy to even bring through TSA? My hope is not that sketchy, because I would really hate for them to take a very close look at the quantity of makeup I have in case I go over. But yeah, this does look kind of sketchy. We should be good. I mean, this is really all the amount of powder I really need for, I don't know, 10 days. All right, powder has been secured. And again, we're moving from this to this. So I just have way, way less packaging to worry about. And this is also not going to shatter now. You know, this is already broken up. You know, I am starting to wonder if all of this would fit into this Salt New York palette. Right now, I'm just kind of playing Jenga to see if maybe this can all fit in here. It's really, really close, but I think it could work. I think it could work. Oh my gosh. Is this really gonna work right now? Wow. You know what? I was gonna do more options, but I feel like this is really all I need. Like when I'm thinking about stuff I really, really need, this is all I need. So here we have it, my mini makeup palette for travel. And look, I'm going from this size to even less. This is wild. I cannot believe that this has 4 different eyeshadows, 2 different blushes, and a bronzer. Like, that is insane. So there is a little bit of room here for potentially something in the red department. Now, I think it would be really nice to have a lip and a cheek that I could use, and it looks like I could just put it right there. It was really not even a question to me which one I was going to bring, which is Fui Ambitious. I love this one on the cheeks. I love it on the lips, and it is more of a matte formula. So it'll just give me a little bit of variety. I could just put it into one of their little keychains that they have. So this is perfect for like on the go, as you can see, because you can just depot, put it in here, and then you're done. But again, when I already have this here, I feel like it just makes sense to put it into one of these little pans. So we're gonna do this one more time and go ahead and do that. So back with the candle warmer, we're gonna get that going over here. And again, this is the shade Ambitious. We have our little pan here. I'm gonna go ahead and sanitize this and the spatula as well. And I do feel like this part is going to be really satisfying. I do really wonder how this is going to melt down, because it is so like moussey, like almost like moussey foamy. So how this actually melts down into this pan, it is going to be, at least it'll be interesting. Might even be able to put more in there because I feel like a lot of this is air. Again, that is the shade Fui Ambitious. It's like, I feel like my perfect red, because it's like a slightly more warm toned red, but it's not orange. So it looks beautiful on my cheeks and on my lips. I just absolutely love it. You guys, this has been sitting here for like a solid minute and it is not moving. I'm gonna try and help this along a little bit because it is an absolutely wild texture right now. All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and get this into the palette. It is a little warm. Slide that right over. I feel like that could have gone very poorly, but it actually didn't. And there's my completed little palette. I love that I have another option. I was feeling like I still needed a red option. I just wasn't sure if I would have enough room, but I am so glad that I did. Before I throw this into my bag, I am going to check that the Fui formula set right, just to be sure, because I'm just not quite sure about that one. Now that I have my mini palette done, I have my loose powder. We still have a couple more things to put in the makeup bag. And some of these are liquids that are going to count as liquids already. Like these don't count as liquids, which is amazing. So here I have my bag. I do have to bring either my Kosas Revealer Concealer or my Tower 28 Concealer. Honestly, the Tower 28 concealer is more long wearing. It's more like skin-like to matte, but the Kosas is a little bit more hydrating. And I do find that typically when I'm traveling, I need a little more moisture. So I'm going to go ahead and bring the Kosas. I'm not going to bring both. And then I'm also going to bring my Tower 28 mascara. I absolutely love this one. I would not be without it for this trip. So this is the one mascara I'm going to bring. No brainer is this Shiseido eyelash curler. I am going to give it a clean before I leave, but I absolutely need to be bringing that. I did mention an SPF lip balm that needs to go in there. And by the way, this is not including skincare. Gotta have my Anastasia Brow Wiz, as well as my clear brow gel, which is the one from Rare Beauty. I have my favorite eyeliner brush, so this is really going to come in handy. That is actually how I achieve kind of my signature smoky wing. Need to make sure that I am bringing my It Cosmetics CC cream. I decided to go with this foundation in specific for this trip because, again, when my skin is not doing well, when it's really dry, you know, I'm going to be on a plane for like 7 hours. I'm not really sure what's going to happen with my skin, but this has worked for me for years, so it's just a really safe bet. So this is the shade, what shade is this again? I believe it's the shade Fair. So this is like 1.8 ounces. This is also a 1 ounce tube, but I don't need to bring this whole thing. This is also less room. So I am going to put it into this tube. Now I did give this a good wash before. So let's go ahead and add my foundation. Now I'm really, really hoping that this tube does a good job of actually squeezing out the product, because if it doesn't, we will be in trouble. Now I gotta be honest, there's no way I'm even going to use this much product. Like, this is quite a lot. You know, the great irony is this is so much slimmer now that I took out the product that it might actually just be easier to take this. We are going to just stick with the plan. This also feels really secure, so let's see if it actually wants to come out of here. Oh, yep. It definitely does. Honestly, this kind of makes me a little nervous. This is gonna be a TBD sort of thing. So will this end up still coming as is with me? Time will only tell, but at least for now, I'm going to take the risk of having this in here. Honestly, I kind of just want to put this into one of my condense little containers because I know that these don't leak and this is looking a little sketchy to me. So either way, that is going in, powder is going in. I'm going to be taking this brush from It Cosmetics because this is a perfect crease brush. I am going to wash it before I take it, by the way. And this is perfect for foundation, for cream bronzer, for cream blush. It just does everything. So a dual-ended brush like this is just really nice for travel. So I'm going to take this. I'm also going to take a sponge. I just don't have it with me. And I did a little more thinking about lips. I am going to take my Roman Juicy Lasting Tint because I depend on this one. I really, really love it. It is my perfect nude. It lasts all day. It's non-drying. So I'm willing to have this, even though it is going to take up more room than most of my items in here at this point. But I did have an idea. I just gotta say, it is wild how much room I still have in here for all of my skincare and toiletries and stuff. I did not think that this was gonna happen. And by the way, there's a good chance that I could take out like all of these products and put them in a separate bag. Like these products aren't liquid, so these technically don't even have to go in here. These are all my liquids. I never thought I would see the day where I could actually do this. So as a recap, this is everything that I am taking with me, but this is everything that is fit now into this amount of space. So honestly, I feel pretty incredible about this. But overall, I hope that you guys did really enjoy the video. Make sure that you guys follow me over on Instagram if you want to see some of my travels, because I probably will be sharing over there. But overall, just thank you guys for being here, and I will see you in my next one.